Hi guys, and welcome to Tips from my garden shed. This is a little series that I'm putting together to share my thoughts and ideas on bait, rigs and all different tactics while we're out on the bank. And hopefully you can take something from this series which will help you guys as well catch a few extra fish. It's not gospel, some people may agree with my ideas, may disagree, but if it gets the mind working and you're thinking outside the box and trying to do things a little bit different to the guy next door to you, then it will have helped and hopefully you catch more fish because of it. And this month I would like to talk about boilies. We're now into the autumn and this time of year boilies really come into their own. Most people will get a bag of boilies, get to their local lake, catapult them out, throw and stick them out, spot them out, hole, and that's it. Well, to me that's it does catch a lot of fish, but it's a very one-dimensional way of fishing. And I do things a little bit different. I use lots of different sizes, different shapes. I do tend to shy away from round baits. I mean, I cut mine in half, I chop them up, I add liquids to them, and I do things a little bit different to the guy next door, and this definitely puts you extra fish on the bank. I mean, I use a lot of particles in the summer. This time of year I tend to shy away from them. If I'm using a lot of bait and depending on venue there's not too many nuisance fish like bream and stuff, I will add pellets to the mix as well. Obviously from my last video, they're great for a carrier for liquids, and I use pellets, and I will still put a few tiger nuts in the mix just to give that different dimension to the bait. But generally the bulk of my bait this time of year is boilie. I mean, I know it's expensive, so that's when you can add your pellet, etc. But boilie is a massive edge in carp fishing. Fish absolutely love them. Big fish especially. They're trying to build themselves up this time of year, ready for winter, and you will catch a lot of fish doing it. So that's kind of enough of me waffling on. I will show you how I prepare my bait, how I put the mix together. We'll do a few tank tests in a tank over here after. Like, I'll show you what it looks like just boilie on its own, and then what my mix brings. And hopefully you can take a bit away from this. You don't have to copy what I'm doing, but as long as, like I said, it helps you think outside the box. There's no hard and fast rules in carp fishing. You can add what liquids you like to it, you can chop it up as coarse, as fine as you want. All depends on the fishing situation, depth of water, amount of fish, nuisance species. There's a lot of variables in carp fishing, and I'm hoping this is just helps you get that understanding of what I do, and then you can then go and tailor your own mix to it, or just go out and just chuck out straight boilies and carry on catching fish. But these are my ideas and thoughts. So until later on, I'm going to get some gear together, get some bait together and do some prep, and then we'll do some tank tests. Cheers guys. Right guys, I'm going to start with the boilie crumb and how I prepare it. I use absolutely tons of boilie crumb, so I've got one of these Ridge Monkey buckets with a chopper on top. It go through kilos of bait in minutes, well not even minutes, probably seconds. It's unbelievable bit of kit. But you don't have to go out and buy one of these. I mean, you can use hand crushers, you can use your fingers, crush them up in your fingers. Most baits these days are pretty soft, so you can sit on the bank and crush them up, do it however you like. And then you can make it how fine or how coarse you want it. But for me, this is the perfect bit of kit, so I'm going to chuck some boilie in here now and show you how this works. Pour some boilie in. Actually, you can shut the top then to stop it coming out, but I'll leave the top open so you can see it. I'll zoom in on this and then I'll show you what it produces afterwards. So here we go guys. I'll just start turning the handle now. Hopefully we won't lose too much bait at the top. As you can see, it fires through the bait pretty quickly. It's not the easiest to do it up here on the side. It's better if you've got it down on the ground, and you can put some weight on the bucket. I mean, there's no bait in here at the minute, so it sort of bounces all over the place. I have found as well, if you're doing a lot of bait, or you're using the particle plate and you're doing a lot of chopped tiger, something like that, then you just take this handle off on the side and you stick a drill on there if you've got a drill, and it really fires through bait then. But yeah, as you can see, it's fired through that bit of bait pretty quick. Let's chuck a little bit more bait in there just so you can see how fast this thing is, but great bit of kit. Boilies in there like that. You see, a couple of turns and all them boilies are gone. Turned into crumb. Absolutely fantastic bit of kit. So there you are, guys. I've probably done a kilo plus of boilie in probably less than a minute. It's such a great bit of kit, this, and you've got from fine crumb right up to coarse crumb. Great little mix. So that's me crumb. So there you go, there's my crumb from coarse to fine. Beautiful bit of bait, trying to get that in focus for you on the camera. Yeah, lovely. I mean, it absorbs liquids really well like this. And it's just a perfect carpet of bait. There's no better bait out there than boilie crumb. It's just the ultimate bait in my opinion, and still very, very, very underused. So that's my boilie crumb. I will now move on to how I do my chops, and then we'll add all this together. I'll make a little bit and we'll stick some in the tank and have a look at it. So here we go. I've just got some standard boilies in here, round boilies. I use a chopper like this. Scoop the boilies up like this. They go into the chopper, fill it up. I mean, I'll just put some in by hand. It's not easy doing this with the camera on you. Like I said, you normally get in a comfortable position. I normally sit on my back doorstep and I put these baits in and I fire this out no time at all. But like again, you can use the single-handed corder one, or you can chop them with a pair of scissors, or just break them up with your fingers. There's loads of ways of doing this. I mean, I just use the best kit available to do it as quickly as possible because I use loads of it. But you just scoop them up like that, put the top on, which has got the blade in like that, literally put it on the side, and then just push down, open this little bit at the top, and just literally get your tub and just tip out, pull the bottom out, tip out your chops. And if I can zoom in on this, you can see all the chops in there. All these baits cut in half in no time at all, and these are great if the fish are shying away from whole boilies, but I like these if you're fishing weed or silty lakes. These just flutter down and sit on top of everything. Same with the crumb. So you've got bait at all different layers set up in the weed, on the bottom, around, really gets the fish rooting around, really gets them competing, and when they're doing that, they are a lot easier to catch. It's just adding different dimensions to your bait. By doing this, it just creates a better feeding situation. Like sticking out baits, you know, a big spread of baits will always catch fish, fish are moving, they're quite easy to catch, but this is where you really get them competing and you can have some big hits of fish. It's just the way I prefer to use boilies and the way I like to fish. So there you are guys, I'll add that now to the crumb, and then I'll add my liquids and show you how I do that, and then we'll move on to the next step. Right, so there's my chops in a container. I'm obviously not mixing this up in great quantities because it's just for a tank test, but you can make this up. You can make as much or as little as you want. So there's my chops in there. I will then add some crumb. That a good mix around. Lots of different sizes and shapes in there now. I then take some liquid food complex. Add this to the mix. Give that a good stir around, good shake around, whatever. I'm just using a pair of scissors here, but use anything. Make sure it coats and covers absolutely everything. You don't want it absolutely swimming in liquid. But what this will do is absorb. Like, you can do this on the bank straight away, put it in and spot it out, but I like to do this at least the night before to give it a chance to soak in. What I'll do is I'll make it and then I'll check it, and then if need be I'll add more liquid to the mix. You know, it might be a case you get to the bank and the next morning it's dried out a bit, add a bit more liquid. If it soaks right in, then when it'll get to the bottom of the lake and then it'll start pumping out and really drawing them fish in. It's such a great edge. Plus, when you use dry crumb, it's going to hold in the layers a lot longer. It's not going to get to the deck as quick and it could drift away. Whereas if you're adding liquid to the crumb, it's making it heavier. Makes it heavier. You can it almost becomes like a ball of ground bait in the spom. So when you spom it out, hits the surface, comes out in a lump, and as it goes down it starts to break down, hits the bottom, breaks down on the deck, which means you've got all that crumb, all that liquid, all that goodness, everything you want is down on that lake bed and working for you. And it's such a great edge. And you know, like I said, you can add other elements to it like pellets, tiger knots, but this is the ultimate bait, and one I'll use right through until the spring. You just use slightly less quantities in the winter, but in the autumn, in my opinion, this is just the ultimate way to catch fish. So I'll give this a proper mix up, get it ready, and then we'll chuck it in the tank, see how it looks. So there you are guys, I'll catch you in a minute. Cheers guys. Right guys, I've just put the rig in a tank. I'm going to chuck in a few standard boilies, and as you can imagine, not much is going to happen straight away. They've been boiled, they've got a skin on them, it takes a while for that to be penetrated and the attractions and things to come out. But I thought I'd just chuck us in so you could see what it looks like compared to the way I do the bait and the difference you get between the two. So here we go. I'm just going to throw in some of my mix, and straight away you can see all them particles in the water column, the liquid kicking up, all them little fine particles of crumb and liquid are going to get into the bottom, infuse into the silt, get under stones. And there's going to be a lot more attraction and food in the water for a lot longer. Like if a carp came in and you just had them boilies out there, few seconds, suck them up. You may have hooked him, you may not have, and he's off on his way and he's gone. But with all that particle there, you'll come in, have a feed, You might hook him, you might not, but he's going to keep coming back. There's going to be a lot of food signals and attraction in that swim for a very, very long time. And getting them fish in there and feeding for longer is going to give you a chance of hooking them. There's a lot more chance of them making a mistake and you putting more fish on the bank. Also, I'll stir it up in a minute with my scissors just to show you what would happen if a fish came into the swim and his fins were moving, his tail was moving. It's going to create a massive amount of attraction. You'll see how much liquid comes out of this bait and out of this crumb and these boilie particles. And this is where you get that ultimate feeding situation, and they're going to come in time and time again, keep coming back for that smell, that attraction, which is going to give you more chance of hooking the fish and landing more fish. This is where the difference to me between the two baiting situations is massive. Like, if you were a fish, which would you prefer? I know which one I would choose, but it just gives you food for thought, how you can create a better situation and more food signals and that whole array of attraction that just screams, come in and eat me. And this to me is the ultimate way of using boilies, rather than just putting them out. I mean, you can do that and it will catch your fish, but this just says to me it's an unbelievable way of fishing. And if I had to choose between the two, I know which one I'd choose, and it definitely catches me a lot more fish, and hopefully it'll do the same for you guys. There's no hard and fast rules. You can add whatever boilies you like, whatever sizes you like, whatever liquids you like, but ultimately you're looking to achieve the same feeding situation. So there you are, guys. That's a little look at how I approach my boilie fishing. I hope it's helped you think about how you will use boilies in the future, rather than just chucking them in out the bag, and it will hopefully put you more fish on the bank. It's all about doing something slightly different to the guy next door, thinking outside the box and catching more fish. So there you are, guys. I'll just do my final rundown in a minute. So that's all from me for now. Cheers, guys. So there you are, guys. That's a little look at what I like to do with my boilies. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can use any liquids, any boilies, any sort of combination, but creating that feeding response and how the bait reacts underwater, it just shows there's so much you can do with boilies, rather than just get a bag of them and throw them in the lake. Yes, it will catch your fish, but I'm sure doing and using this sort of approach will definitely put you more fish on the bank. Always works for me. You just got to try and think outside the box, do something different to the guy in the next peg, and it will pay off. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please subscribe to my channel, and I will try and do some more over the coming months through winter. There's quite a few little tactics I want to look at, that is to do with winter fishing specifically. So thanks for watching, guys. That's all from me from now. Tight lines. Until next time. Cheers, guys.